Welcome back to Detroit. Welcome back to Detroit Pissed Me Off. Today on the show, we're talking about the state of the Detroit Pistons. We're talking about the depth chart after the NBA draft. Who will the Pistons spend their $30 million on this offseason? First, the draft, of course, taking number 5, Ausar Thompson. A high-risk, high-reward type of player. Great defense, supreme athleticism. Should be great in transition, also cutting the basket. And D'ing up, weak side defender, 6'7", about 210. Just a wonderful athlete with all sorts of potential. Have you seen this guy dribble? Let's watch this little dribbling expedition he put on during one of his private workouts for the draft. Ausar Thompson definitely has all the skills. If he develops a nice average three-point shot, the sky is absolutely the limit for Ausar Thompson. And then with the second pick, the Pistons traded number 31 overall, moved up to 25 overall in the late first round, and picked up Marcus Sasser, a combo guard from the University of Houston. One of the best defensive players in college. He teamed up with Jarris Walker in Houston to create one of the most dynamic defending duos in college basketball last season. Marcus Sasser shot about 38% last year from behind the arc and 42% in his junior season. At the age of 23, he is already older than Killian Hayes. What type of role Marcus Sasser served day one for the Detroit Pistons? In my opinion, he's going to be that third point guard, third shooting guard in the very beginning, backing up Bergson, Ivy, and Cade Cunningham and Killian Hayes. However, if Killian continues to struggle, Marcus Sasser could easily take that role. Now let's take a look at what I perceive as the depth chart right now for the Detroit Pistons heading into free agency and what free agency might change in that department. So if we don't bring any other free agents right now, our starting 5 is as follows in my humble opinion. Point guard, Cade Cunningham, shooting guard, Jaden Ivey, small forward, Bojan Bogdanovic. Now Ausar Thompson eventually will come in and be that small forward, but I think in the beginning we're going to see Bojan in the starting lineup with Isaiah Stewart at the power forward, assuming that Stewart continues to stretch the floor like he did last year. And at center, Jalen Duren. Now the second unit, in my opinion, will be led by point guard Killian Hayes, shooting guard Alec Burks, small forward Ausar Thompson, power forward Isaiah Livers, and center James Wiseman / Marvin Bagley. But we know Marvin Bagley doesn't really want to play the power forward position. So we could see some reduced minutes or a trade possibly for Marvin Bagley sometime during the free agent process. Are we going to spend a 30 mil on a player like a Jeremy Grant? 3 years, 90 million maybe. Cameron Johnson appears to be the number one target right now in free agency from Brooklyn. Recently traded over from Phoenix in the Kevin Durant deal. Has ties with Monty Williams. The situation here is how much is Brooklyn willing to match and how much are the Pistons willing to offer, as Cameron Johnson is a restricted free agent, so they can match any offer. Will the Pistons be willing to go significantly over that mark to ensure that Brooklyn does not match? Will that be an overpay? So tell me what you think in the comments about how much Cameron Johnson's max value is. Signing him to a 3 or 4 year deal makes sense. I would say if it's a 4-year deal, around $100 to $110 million max, I would be okay with them offering that package. Cameron Johnson, a great three-point shooter, averaged about 40% during his career. The main issue with Cameron Johnson that I'm extremely concerned with is that he has been injured much of his career, and the Pistons really need durable players in there. We saw last season, so many injuries devastated the Pistons last year, and it definitely created a free fall in the standings for the Pistons. Other free agent possibilities for the Pistons: Celtics power forward / small forward
Grant Williams
would be an option. Also, Wutan Watanabe from Brooklyn, another guy that shoots a very high percentage from downtown. Shouldn't have to break the bank to bring in Yuta Watanabe. So I like that as a secondary option. They won't be over the cap, so they'll have about 6 or 7 mil to spend with their exceptions. Kyle Kuzma, another option there. He's going to want up to about $30 million per season. Had a really nice season, averaging about 21 points, 7 boards, and 4 assists for the Wizards. It'd be nice to bring him back. He's a Kalamazoo native, or Flint, Michigan native. It would be nice to see them bring in Kyle Kuzma, but at 30 mil, I think it's a little bit too high. If they can get around 22 to 25 mil per year, then I would be on board with bringing in either him or Cameron Johnson. Cameron Johnson, a little bit less of a playmaker than Kyle Kuzma. And I believe Kyle Kuzma probably has a higher durability. So for me, I kind of like Kyle Kuzma in that edge. However, Cameron Johnson appears to be the number one target, and I wouldn't be opposed to that either. Jeremy Grant, we know what he can do. If Jeremy Grant returns to the Pistons, will he accept a smaller role? We would really need Jeremy Grant in his second stint here as a Piston to take on a role of more of a three-point shooter and D type of player, slasher, defender, and less of an ISO baller that we saw the first time he was here. But overall, I wouldn't mind seeing Jeremy because he's the type of defender and teammate that would be great back on the Pistons. Piston fans, do me a solid, smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to be reminded when my videos go live, and I'll see you next time on Detroit Piston Me Off.